Thing I want to get into is the return of NISS.
Yeah.
Now, NISS is the National Inline Skate Series, and
Yeah.
it was a really big circuit of inline rollerblading competitions back in the 90s. I think it ended about 1998.
It was the very first competition series, and it predated the X Games by a year.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
first NISS series was 1994, I believe. And it was the year after that. 95 was when they had the first X Games. So NISS predated the X Games, and it was obviously also the very first rollerblading series.
So my first question about that is kind of how did that come to be? How did it end up coming back? If you can talk a little bit to that, and then also just some of the people that are behind the resurrection of the competition, because I think most people just see Chris Edwards. He's kind of the front man for it.
Yeah.
But I know there are a lot of people in the back end that are working to bring that to be a new competition or a new thing. So if you want to kind of let us know, how that happened, how the
Yeah.
idea came about, and then the kind of the people behind it.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I'll actually take it backwards because you mentioned Chris and him being the face of it or the front man. This is all fresh on my mind because I just had a meeting with like the NISS board 2 nights ago, or maybe it was last night. Because the Carriers Open is going to be the U.S. championships, and so that's kind of done in coordination with NISS. So we were talking about that last night. But one of the things that we talked about also was our social media presence and like the social media strategy. Chris is like, he is a super passionate guy, and he is traveling and going to all the events. And so he's been doing a really great job of getting content out there. He is live streaming from the events. He's interviewing people. He's got a constant presence. But for NISS, we'd like to have it be more forward facing. We'd like to sort of incorporate newer voices. Chris and I won the first NISS. He won Vert, I won Street.
I didn't know that.
Yep. We were the first NISS champions. I won a jet ski.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had money back then for these competitions.
yeah.
That's crazy. A jet ski, damn.
I won a jet ski. So I mean, I never rode it. I traded it in for the cash or whatever. But I got to take a picture on it. I'm sat on it. And actually, I don't think it's a jet ski. It's one you sit on. It was a Sea-Doo. But same idea. But so I guess let me answer your original question. The reason it came back is because rollerblading, while it has taken a dip in popularity in the US, it's not necessarily the case all over the world. And so there are still big competitions in other countries. You've got Feast, obviously is a huge competition. Winter Clash is still really big. But in some of these major international competitions, like the World Games and the World Championships, which have skateboarding and scooters and rollerblading, and they have competitors from all over the world, from many different countries. They don't have U.S. skaters because we don't have a federation in the U.S. which feeds into the World Games essentially. And so they're Nell Martin, who's a vert skater from Spain. He is very active in the World Games, and he knows people there. And they've been talking to him, saying, we've got to qualify American skaters. At the last World Games, Jeff Dahlness and Fritz went out and competed just because they were like, we need to get American skaters out here. And so Isaac Altmans, Nell Martin, they kind of pulled some strings, made stuff happen, and got them out there. But that was just kind of like a patchwork solution. Really what we want is to have a U.S. qualifier. Essentially, we want to have a series and then we want it to culminate in a U.S. championship so we can send our champions to compete in these international events. And so as we were talking about all this, and Nell started bringing people together to talk about, like, we need to put together some kind of U.S. Championship. We need to put together some kind of circuit. One of the ideas came up, well, how about instead of just trying to start from scratch, why don't we reach out to all the independent contests that are still out there, and see if we can kind of put them together into a series. And then once that idea started percolating, the idea came up, well, instead of trying to come up with a new name for it or rebrand it, I mean, this is a national inline series. Let's bring back the NISS name. You know, it's got some history to it. It's got some meaning to people. And so that's kind of where the idea all came from. And I did the branding for it, by the way. I did the logos and stuff for the new NISS. But so having said all that, now to bring it full circle to the thing with Chris, is the idea with this is it's not supposed to just be like a retro thing, you know. The new series should be for the new skaters. And so I think that we are kind of sensitive to that. And the fact that Chris has been the one who's doing it has been a great asset to the project. You know, someone's got to be out there getting content out there. And we've kind of have been throwing this together as we go on the fly, you know, because it's all just started happening this year. We haven't had a whole lot of time to prepare for it. But as we kind of start to come up with more of a strategy and try to look forward, I think that we would like to have, you know, we'd like to have this thing be represented by the skaters who are out there skating. And Chris and I, and, you know, all of us that were around for the original NISS series, we're a part of the story, but we should only be part of the story. It's y'all's story now, or it's the next generation's thing now.
So the main thing that everybody's really excited about is that the fact that this is going to feed into the World Skate Games. So we're talking like how many competitors are going to be able to advance from these competitions in order to possibly have a chance. And I don't want to keep asking so many questions at once. Is the World Skate Games like is it already set that that's going to be the case, or are we still working on getting all that together?
No, this has all been done in coordination with the World Skate Games. They know that we're doing this. So this is the U.S. Championships will qualify people for the World Skate Games and for the World Championships. So the World Skate Games are every 2 years. So they won't be this year, but this year there is a World Championships, which will be in Japan. And it's the same month as Carriers. So just within a couple of weeks of Carriers will be the World Championships in Japan. And the skaters that win at Carriers Open, they are immediately qualified and eligible to go to the World Championships. And to answer your question about how many, so each country can qualify 5 male riders and 5 female riders. And so that's what we're going to try and come up with at the Carriers Open, is we will find those 5 men and 5 women to represent the U.S. What's that?
No, he said dope.
Oh yeah, it's dope. And so the Carriers Open, you know, we always get an international field, and so it will be it'll be an international contest. Everybody can come and skate, but the highest qualifying American skaters will be the ones that round out or that make up the U.S. team.
And then I believe the World Skate Games has been an entry point for the Olympics with skateboarding. I think it is, if I'm not mistaken, that's kind of led to skateboarding being an event in the Olympics. Is that something that's also being thought about as far as rollerblading possibly having the same opportunity?
100%. So that is probably a longer term goal. But 100%, like if we are ever going to have the opportunity to be in the Olympics, or if we ever hope to be in the Olympics, you kind of have to have an infrastructure built first, something that can feed into it. So the federation that we're working with in the U.S., the U.S. organization that's affiliated with the international organization is USA Roller Sports, and they're the ones that represent skateboarding in the Olympics. And they represent sort of essentially wheeled sports, roller skating, skateboarding, scooters, and rollerblades. But they have every rollerblading division except for aggressive. And so we're trying to work with them to get, to make aggressive kind of a part of USA Roller Sports, so we can have sanctioned events, and so we can have something that feeds into the international competitions. And as you say, also one day hopefully can, if we ever have the opportunity, help us get into the Olympics.
Now, as far as you saying they have other rollerblading events, is that like speed skating?
Yeah, speed skating, slalom skating, artistic, stuff like that.
Like dance skating or something like that?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, rollerblading, aggressive rollerblading should definitely be up there with all of those other events.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely a lot more exciting.
I mean, it's not about being more exciting, right? But it's definitely, it should be there. If you have an organization that's representing wheeled sports and rollerblading, different rollerblading disciplines, there's no reason that aggressive shouldn't be there. And aggressive, by the way, I think now it's called, at least in the World Games and stuff, it's called freestyle rolling or something like that. And that's what I put on the U.S. Championships, like on the first flyer that we made for Carriers Open. I just put like freestyle rolling, whatever, something like that. Just trying to fit in whatever.
I like the term freestyle rolling. I think it sounds cool.
Yeah.
Aggressive skating kind of sounds a little dated.
For sure.
I think
for
I
sure.
think New York, when they made that Be Unique videos, they would consider it freestyle rolling.
But the thing is, I think that, well, I don't know. Because I think there's a discipline within USA roller sports that's maybe is already called freestyle, but maybe not, because if it's called freestyle rolling, then I guess there's not also freestyle. So maybe it's us.
And then as far as qualifying, okay, you had to skate the. Let me go back to the website. So you had to skate the people that skate like Crowder Power and the Windy City Riot and all these other competitions.
Yeah,
they're trying to earn a spot at the Carriers, and they're going to automatically be in the finals for the Carriers. Is that correct?
It's close, but it's not exactly correct. It's a little more detailed than that. So there are three divisions, or I guess 3 stages of competition at the Open, at Carriers Open. There will be an Open. There will actually be a Carriers Open.
And that's open for anybody to be able to skate.
For anybody to be able to skate, yes. There will also be an invitational, which is the second stage. So the top 3 finishers from each of these NISS feeders, or each of the NISS stops. So if you get placed top 3 at any of those, you go automatically into the invitational. If you made it into the top 10, if you're 4th through 10th at any of those events, then you're eligible to come and skate in the Open here. And if you have not competed yet in any of the tour stops, you can also come and get a spot in the Open and try to make it into the invitational. There are limited number of spots because we don't have an infinite, we don't have infinite time to run a contest, and there's not an infinite registration list, but it will be, I think all of the NISS stop competitors, top 10s, will have first shot at it. We will send out kind of like RSVP notices to them before the registration goes live. And so they'll have first dibs on the spots. After that, we will open it up and start filling up the spots on a first come, first serve basis, except for the top 3. Top 3 will have their spots reserved. That equals, I think, 18 skaters, 6 stops, top 3 from each. Will have 18 spots reserved in the invitational.
Okay, and then the top 5 from the Carriers gets to go to, or gets a chance to skate in Japan.
Yeah.
For the World's Finals. Is that going to be like Team America?
Yeah, so that's the final stage. So we have the Open, then the Invitational, and then the Invitational will turn into a finals, where I think 14 riders will be narrowed down to the top 5. That will kind of be the finals event. And then the top 5 highest ranked U.S. skaters, because there's a chance, Niels Johnson will show up and win the Carriers Open, but obviously he won't be representing the U.S. in international competition. So whoever the top 5 highest ranking Americans are will be the U.S. team.
Okay. Is there going to be any help in getting them to Japan, or is it going to just be on their own dime to make it out there and be able to skate the finals representing America?
So this is premature, but I'll go ahead and put it out there. So there is talk. There is a very good chance that we will send the number 1 qualifying male rider, number 1 qualifying female rider. We will pay for their airfare to go to Japan. We can't do it for all 5, or that's 10, right? 5 men, 5 women. But for the highest qualifying that can go, we will give, we will go down the list, give you first right of refusal. If you're the highest ranking, but you say, listen, I can't make it to Japan in 2 weeks, we'll go down to the next one. But so, yeah, we've been talking about it. We think that we can pull it off. So I don't hold me to it. It's not written in stone yet, but I think chances are better than not that we will find a way to send the 1 man and 1 woman to Japan for the World Championships.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, I'm sure that will help them out a lot, because I'm sure that's not going to be a very cheap trip, plus such short notice.
Exactly.
Yeah, on short notice. Was that? I mean, I guess, was that considered whenever the carrier's date was set that it was going to be? It wasn't. Okay.
No, honestly, I mean, maybe someone was aware. I wasn't aware that there were going to be World Championships the same month. But it is what it is. And if you make it onto the U.S. team, essentially, you carry that status until the next U.S. Championships. So for every international event, you are eligible to skate and represent U.S.
Sick.
And they have, within these organizations, they're also going to have, I believe, a Pan American Games, which I don't know if the location's been set for that yet. I think there was some talk about maybe it would be in Seattle. But so if it's in the States, obviously that will make it a lot easier for our skaters to get to. But then, yeah, that's something that our U.S. team would be eligible for.
I had a question. Sorry, John. Is there is Blade Cup not included for the NISS?
Blading Cup didn't want to be a part of NISS.
Oh, okay.
Why is that?
I can't speak for them. I mean, I would guess that it's kind of like, it's just sort of a different philosophy, a different approach to skating. Blading Cup kind of has their lane. I don't think that they're the kind of event or organization that's really focused on getting rollerblading into the Olympics, for instance. I think they're probably more focused on the street and cultural aspects of it.
Gotcha. John, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, do you think another round of jackets are going to be made, like from Fritz's and Dallas's from last year? Those were fire. I just wanted to know if those might be remade.
Arlo had nothing to do with that.
You saw the onesie, right?
That's what we're getting.
That's what
sorry, it wasn't. Maybe
saying,
it was just like it was a shot in the dark. I don't know,
No, John, Arlo had nothing to do with that. Those jackets.
I totally know who had.
What he's talking about?
No, I can't.
I think I can picture seeing a Fritz and Jeff wearing the jackets.
Yeah, you can imagine like a rhinestone Peitzner kind of situation.
Is it like that?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it was glossy white. It had so many bedazzles.
I think that sounds sick.
It's a great jacket, is what we're trying to say.
But
he was
absolutely, there should be like team swag or whatever you call it, like stuff that Team USA wears, but it doesn't have to be corny.
Yeah.
I thought it was fresh. I'll send you a picture of it, Arlo. I thought I looked great in it. I wore Fritz's. Danny went and picked it up from his mom's, but Josh wouldn't let me wear it on the podcast.
Well, Sullivan, you show up and win carriers, and we'll make sure you get a jacket.
42 ain't doing it anymore. I'll judge.
We will need judges.
I'll judge.
We don't have judging jackets, but we definitely need judges.
No, last year I built stuff, and this year I just want to chill and judge.
All right.
Yeah, and I filmed last year too.
Erin might be representing Team USA. Is she going to compete?
You're trying. She just won Supergirl last week.
So come out and win carriers, or get top 5.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, she definitely has more than.
Yeah, this was my favorite, or my first comp I ever went to, in West End, Dallas.
Wait, what was your first comp?
NISS, 96 in West End, Dallas.
West End, or was it?
It was West End, right where the Hooters was.
Sorry.
No, we had this discussion because we were watching it on YouTube, and we saw the one in the West End and the one in Deep Ellum.
Oh, they're 2 different events.
There was a discussion about which one was which.
Deep Ellum was one of the worst contests of my life.
Why is that?
I don't remember. It was terrible. Maybe because I was home and I don't know, but I just remember it going spectacularly bad.
Oh,
I remember. This is so weird. Such a weird thought. I remember at some point in the event there was a big quarter pipe there, and so I just skated up to the quarter pipe and did a backflip. And I knew that I'd always told myself I would never do that. Like just go up a quarter pipe and do a backflip because it just felt so easy. And so I knew I was doing it just to try and save face. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Get something going.
just whatever, like to give the crowd something. But
Mhm.
it felt to me, it felt kind of like corny, like cheating.
Yeah, they love backflips in competitions.
Yeah.
Sure do.
That's how you get the crowd going.
Yeah.
They
Get the
sure
crowd
do.
hype.
Some things never change.
Yeah.
Did y'all have anything else y'all wanted to talk as far as NISS
Are
goes?
we done?
Any other
That's it?
questions? No. I'm just I'm
okay.
giving them an opportunity
Oh, okay.
to ask any questions.
Wait, I have
Just
a real
kidding.
quick one. So you won the first street. Edwards won the first vert. Did you
Yeah.
compete in vert or vice
Yeah.
versa for Chris?
We both did.
Gotcha.
He skated street and I skated vert. I mean, Chris was great at street.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing he was, I don't remember. Like I want to say maybe he was second in street, you know,
Yeah, sure.
but I can't remember. And maybe I was like fifth in vert.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna ask if you skated vert also.
Yeah. I competed in vert at first. I competed in vert for a long time. Like X Games, I skated street and vert. I used to be all right at vert.
You had good spins. You got good air. It was just like tough when you saw like Cesar Moore blasting like 900 super high or Emmanuel Burris, or, just like
there were guys that were actually good at vert. I mean, I was okay for a street skater, but I was never like one of the top guys.
Did you actually like enjoy skating vert, or was it kind of like a necessity for being the contest?
No, I loved it. I mean, when I came up skating here, we had the clown ramp at skate time at Bachman. I skated at Jeff Phillips. Like vert was one of the first things I ever skated.
Mm-hmm.
So I came up on ramps really. So I always enjoyed it. And then when I moved to California and I lived at Spawn Ranch, we had a vert ramp in the backyard. So I always skated vert. And to me, it was always a part of like, my skating vocabulary.
Yeah,
was the vert at Jeff Phillips as big as I remember it? Like it was a big vert, right?
It was a big vert.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
they had that big wall ride in the back too.
What do you mean?
Out of the street course.
It had a rolling. Oh wait, what?
It was like the street course, like that came off the spine to like that big open bowl street course, and then the vert was in the back left, and then it had like a huge like.
Oh yeah.
Airwalk wall ride thing.
Yeah, 100%.
The bowl, man, Rapid was awesome.
Sean Robertson used to go up and then come and then front flip onto the deck of the
dude, he was the best
corner.
Dude, he was the best at Rapid. He was it was like a treat watching him there. It was so sick.
On the topic of vert, I saw they kind of had like a vert tryout for the US team to represent on vert, but it didn't really seem like there were very many American vert skaters that could kind of compete with on an international level.
Yeah.
So are they still trying to have like vert representation in these games?
Yeah. And when you asked about how many people were qualifying or we can qualify from NISS, the truth is there are different disciplines. Like they have park and street are separate disciplines. We're not running a separate park and street contest. So we're just going to qualify 5 riders, 5 men and 5 women, and then let them choose. I guess we'll just say you're eligible for either. You can go and compete in park and street or park or street. It's up to you. As we get more established and this thing evolves, ideally we'll actually be running separate park and street events. But for right now, we just don't have the infrastructure to do it. We're not set up for that. Similarly with vert, that is another discipline.
I feel like there's not very many places to skate vert.
That's one of the problems
anymore.
And there aren't, right. And as you said, there aren't places to skate vert and there aren't vert events. So there's just not a whole lot of American vert skaters anymore. But if you build it, they will come. Maybe if we start hosting events, if that if we give people the opportunity to go and skate at international events and world championships and the world skate games or the world games, whatever they're called, then maybe we will start growing kind of a vert population again.
You hear that, Colin? We have a resident vert skater who has to travel multiple states to go skate a vert ramp.
Who?
Colin Parrish. He skated ASA back in like the early 2000s, but he came back into it, and he is a mainly a vert skater.
Is he showing up to any of these vert barbecues that they're doing?
I would have to ask him. I wonder if he's aware of it. He just kind of got back into blading, I think, like a year ago. Does that sound right?
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
So
Josh, can you bring up the NISS schedule again? Do you still have that open?
Yeah.
Because you'll notice a couple of those events are vert barbecues. So those are kind of like
Ooh.
there you go, Vert Barbecue Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That's where Nell lives.
And that's where Nell lives, huh?
Yeah.
He has that vert ramp in his.
And so they're doing those things kind of as a way to bring out the vert skaters. I'm not sure if any of those are going to actually lead to qualifying, Team USA vert skaters. Maybe they are. But definitely they're trying to build it into the programming.
You can at least get like an idea of like what are the talent pool is like for American vert skaters. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure like who really is, like I imagine like a Mark Engelhardt. I'm not sure he's still around, like people
Right.
like that.
That was peak American vert skate.
Yeah.
Probably not around anymore.
Oh, real quick, I'm not making up the name Thumper Nagasako.
No, Hawaiian.
That's
skater.
right. See, okay, thank you.
Have you talked about that in one of the other podcasts?
Yeah, I thought I was just making up a random name. No, Thumper is a gnarly vert skater.
Yeah, Thumper's rad.
All right, sick. Does anybody else have anything, or Arlo, do you have anything you want to say about NISS before we go on to another topic?
Definitely come out to Carriers Open. I mean, it's the first U.S. Championships. It's right here in Dallas, in Frisco. We're going to be hosting it. So it's a really cool opportunity to be a part of, well, in a sense, part of history, if this is our first U.S. Championships, but also part of like growing rollerblading and sort of expanding the opportunities for skaters to compete internationally. And that is the beginning. We're laying the groundwork for skaters to have an opportunity to do something with skating beyond just kind of being amateurs or hustling for a couple $100 here and there. If you can be competing on an international stage, if you have international championships, if you have U.S. championships, if God willing, one day we're in the Olympics, all those things bring eyeballs, and eyeballs bring money. And so it is, it's a thing worth supporting.
Do you know what the prize money is going to be for the carriers? Has that been talked about yet? What we're looking at as far as what you're going to win if you place in the carriers competition?
It has been talked about. It's not settled yet because kind of like all the money that comes in goes to the prize purse. So it still remains to be seen how many vendors we're going to have, how many sponsors we're going to have, things like that. The city of Frisco, was a great partner in the last Carriers Open. They're partnering with us again. We have a goal in mind, but I feel less comfortable talking about the prize money than I do about the flights. So I think I'll just hold off on that one for now.
Yeah, you don't want to say too much and then dig yourself into a hole.
Exactly right, because we don't have
$1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a good purse last year. I remember. I don't remember exactly how much it was, but I know it was a hefty amount of money.
It was a
Yeah,
good
I think
wallet.
we did like $2,000 for first place and $1,000 maybe for second.
Woo.
Yeah, that's good.
And we pay men, we pay the ladies. So, but yeah, that is not settled yet. But we're trying to do we want to do at least what we did at the last Carriers.